Well, I've been married for 33 years. I realise I look way too young to be married for 33 years, but I have been. And at various times through my life with Rosemary, my wife, I've had times where there has been these wonderful periods of great affection and warmth and closeness. And then there have been these times where I've stopped and thought to myself, whoa, I don't feel all that romantic, all that loving, all that close to Rosemary. We haven't had an argument. We're not disagreeing with each other. We're still going on through all the things we have to do in life. It just doesn't feel, well, as exciting. And the thing that I've learnt about relationships, as I think many older people who've been in relationships for a long time have learnt, is this, is that sometimes our relationships needs to be built on commitment. I've decided this, and come what may, I'm going to be committed to this in the seasons where it feels wonderful and in the seasons where it feels difficult. And what keeps me in the difficult times is the disciplines I establish in the good times. The discipline of daily prayer, the discipline of regular prayer, the discipline of being honest to God in prayer, the discipline of coming before God and holding nothing back, regardless of whether I'm particularly feeling enthusiastic or particularly feeling unenthusiastic. I've discovered that what's been able to keep me strong in my relationship with God is the discipline and the formula of the way I do prayer. Now, we all do prayer in different ways at times and at different seasons of our life, but in sticking with the formula in the difficult time. It's interesting, Jesus goes into the desert, and you don't get the impression sometimes by reading the scripture that he's particularly feeling fantastically close, but he's there and he goes there and he goes through this time of preparation, this time where it's serious. We need to make sure that if we are to stay committed to God, we need to be committed to him over the long haul. And if we're going to be committed to him over the long haul, there's going to be times when we feel very enthusiastic in our faith, and there's going to be times when we don't. How do we pray in those seasons dictates how committed we become. Interestingly, often it's the seasons of dryness in our life, the seasons where we feel God is very distant to us, that one of two things happen. That for many people they drop off, and I have to say there have been times when I've just really dropped off in those seasons until I learnt what was happening. See, those seasons, if we don't have them, those seasons of dryness help us take our commitment to a deeper place. See, when I look across the room at Rosemary and I'm madly in love with her because I just think she's gorgeous and beautiful, that's great. But if I was really honest, and we don't like to admit these things, do we? There have been times when I don't feel that way about her. But I don't feel that way about her, but I realise I've made a commitment. It's in those times of being strongly committed that in time grow the relationship in a way that those times of wonderful closeness and joy and happiness never will. Prayer, when consistent, regardless of the emotional feeling, regardless of the sense of closeness or distance, is what grows us when it is consistent in season and out of season, through summer and through winter. Why don't you make a decision today that you will become a person of prayer that doesn't miss? Now, maybe you live in a religious order. Maybe you live in a place with a husband or a wife that consistently pray. You can pray because they do or because the timetable dictates that when you pray. But when you give your heart to it, the transformation truly comes. It's about you giving your heart to it as opposed to an outside influence demanding that you will. That outside influence that demands that you will often is very important in helping us begin and staying there through the good and the bad, but it's when our heart's given that growth really comes.